My sword isn't queued 66 players ahead of me. I knew it was gonna be full. Broadcasting only might. Okay, so everything's being hidden until I can actually get in the game. For whoever's joining me, welcome to the live stream. I'm sorry that there's nothing on the screen just yet. I'm still in the login screen right now. Ah, there we go. Hang on, I can't see your message. What was that you said? Let me see here. So I thought I'd tell you I have paid for a separate PS4 account set for 14 whenever I can get it, which should be Wednesday. Okay. Anyways, greetings, fellow children of time and space. This is your host, Mario Shadow, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to Let's Play Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. This is by far my most looked forward to game of the year. I have done so much in this game, and I have enjoyed every adventure that I've gotten to explore in this game, that I am so proud to be bringing it to the channel as a fully played Let's Play. So I hope everyone's prepared just to enjoy what is going to be coming on from this point forward, because I intend to fully invest time to playing this game for this channel, meaning that my live streams are about to get a lot longer than they usually be. So without further ado, let's get started right away with today's adventure and see what's in store for us. See? Now the question is, will we be able to get into Mordona? Because I know there's going to be so many people that, what is that? That is a new logo. That is a new logo. Okay, let's see here. I logged off in the inn, so let me go ahead and teleport to Mordona. As you can see, I main a samurai on my main character here, so you'll be seeing me play as the samurai during my playthrough of Endwalker. And if you wish to see more, I am more than willing to play through the entirety of the game on a brand new character. So let me know down in the chat below if you wish to see me. Ooh, everything's loading so smoothly. I was expecting things to be cluttered. Alfredo, talk to me, my boy. Yami, do you have some time to talk? I would like to gather everyone in Dawn's respite and together assess the situation in which we find ourselves. Ooh, cutscene? First cutscene of the expansion? Estinian! Let us take stock of the facts, shall we? The crisis at hand began with the sudden appearance of ominous towers in a multitude of locations throughout the world. We have since learned that said structures were brought into being by an organization known as the Telophoroi. The Telophoroi's stated purpose is to recreate the final days of eons past, an apocalyptic event that would result in the destruction of all we hold dear. Already have these towers of theirs been the cause of untold suffering. Countless innocents kidnapped and imprisoned, their faith perverted for primal summonings. And unless we find a way to deal with the corruptive aura surrounding the spires, we can't even get close enough to rescue anyone. Those shielded with the blessing of light seem able to resist being tempered at least. But after what happened to Arnvald and Fordola, we need to be very, very careful about how we proceed. Yet while these threats close to home are of paramount concern, we mustn't lose sight of the situation in Garlemald. As you know, the Telophoroi are under the leadership of Fandaniel and one other delightful fellow, Xenos Ye Galvis, the Crown Prince and our dear friend. Sarcasm! To date, he's reclaimed his old body, murdered Emperor Varus, and plunged Garlemald into an even deeper pit of chaos. The capital has probably seen the worst of it. For a good while there, it saw the bloodiest fighting in the War of Succession, but it has since changed, and in troubling ways. Aye, during our reconnaissance, the air was not once rent by the barking of cannons and the cries of discord. 'Twas an eerie fog of silence which did blanket that ruined city. The inhabitants appeared to have been tempered, and with nary a word spoken did they labor to transform the palace into a soaring edifice born of nightmares. If they were indeed made thralls, it seems safe to assume that these events, too, were orchestrated by the Telophoroi. An army of primals is awful enough, but in light of recent developments, I fear it is only the prelude to an even greater catastrophe. We need to devise a means to counter this threat, and quickly, before our allies are overwhelmed. We will find a way in Charlian, I am sure of it. Master Fortunal comments regarding the final days were curious to say the least. The Forum knows more than it is letting on. Sorry to interrupt. We've just received word from Mistress Cryle. She says that arrangements for your visit have been finalized. You're to head to Limsa and board the next ship bound for Charlian. And on arrival, present yourselves as associates of the students of Baldessian, come to assist with the Order's restoration. The arrangements may be settled, but what of your thoughts? They must race at the prospect of returning home after so long. I am eager to see it, of course. Of course. We should set off at once. Okay, I might need to turn down the in-game music just a bit, because Final Fantasy XIV is notorious for playing loud music. Then I'll accompany you to the docks. You need at least one person there to wave and cry and wish you a safe journey. Ooh, I like that music. Ah, you have it loaded in! Let me see here. No. Where would it be? System configuration. Let me bring it to 45. That way I can still hear it just fine, but it's not overbearingly loud. Okay, I need to go to Limsa. Limsa. That place is probably going to be congested as hell. Limsa is known as the RP section of the game, so I'm expecting it to have a lot of people. Yep, so many people. Let me see. Is any of my friends on? We got a couple of friends on. I don't see my buddy Randall online. He might be at work. And already someone's in. God, they're booking it. 2 people are already in Old Charlian and one's already in Thavnair. God. Anywho, a couple of things that I do want to actually experiment with once I actually get a little bit further in the game. I want to actually play a character and use the new Reaper class as their new class. I also want to experiment with the Summoner a bit, so it'll be me making an entirely new character just to play as the Summoner, and then I'll use one of my older characters to play as the Reaper, because one of my characters is already all the way through, not Endwalker, Shadowbringers, so I want him to actually be my new Reaper class. Everyone's here, which is good because I've already paid for your passage and the fee is non-refundable. The ship for Charlian should be pulling into port soon, so please follow me and have all your luggage close at hand. Take a sip of my drink. Delicious. Simply delicious. Ooh, this cutscene must be voiced.
They've almost finished loading our car.
Yep.
We should be ready to depart right on schedule. Or so I'm told.
I could put this on autoplay.
Excellent. 'Tis nice to have a smooth beginning to one's journey, at the very least.
It's funny. Master Louis Soir came here on a ship very much like this one. And now, years later, the street urchin he befriended that day is bound for his mentor's homeland. With his mentor's grandchildren, no less.
Aye. 'Tis upon reflection that every twist of time's river and fate's whims are brought into sharp relief. Thou hast matured much in the intervening years. Wert thou not caught attempting to relieve Master Louis Soir of his purse scant moments after he made landfall upon this dock?
Oh, damn cred.
Oh, really? Now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Will this be your first visit to Charlian, Sir Estinian? Sir Estinian?
Are we strangers newly met? Why this stiff formality?
I, merely meant it as a professional courtesy, since we are now colleagues in an official sense.
I'd rather you dispense with the sirs, especially in private company. Or I'll be forced to respond in kind, little Lord Alphino.
You've made your point, Estinian. Painfully well.
Better.
Tataru!
Are you all right, Tataru? You seem positively distraught.
Distraught? Me? Don't be silly. I think it's lovely that they get to see their homeland. It's just... we're trying to thwart the schemes of an army hellbent on destroying the world. And, once again, I have to stay behind and worry that this is the last time I'll get to see my friends.
Ha! I'll bring them back and safe and sound, I promise.
I'll hold you to that.
Tataru is definitely one of my favorite characters in this game. Hey, it's Hori Boulder!
Hori! Coulternay! What brings you all this way?
We're to assist the Maelstrom and the Kobolds with a lunar primal operation, so we thought we'd see you off before heading to the tower. Flamine and the others wish you all a safe journey, and promise that they'll look after things here until you return. We will too, of course. Aye, we your fellow Scions of the Seventh Dawn will do our part to ensure the end of the world won't happen on our watch.
We're set to sail! All aboard for Charlian! It's time.
Then we must delay no longer. We will contact you the moment we learn aught of value. Wish us luck.
Have a safe journey, and please, please, be careful.
Sorry, it's just too precious for this world.
And so you venture forth unto the unknown. A
Damn itself!
on the horizon that cannot be divined. A future undefined and in flux. In uncertain times, naught but the simplest words of wisdom will suffice. That which lives is destined to die. Love leads to loss. Every beginning has an end. Treasure every moment, every step of your descent. And there, in the depths where souls and stars rest, find your truth.
Music from Final Fantasy XIV, the OG game? Oh!
Feel.
Mother Heidelin?
Think.
The day has barely dawned, my fellow earlier riser. Though we're hardly alone in that. Envious of those still sleeping soundly, no doubt. Called out to you, you say? I've heard nothing myself. In any case, I dare say the sea air will do you good. Why not join the others on deck? Charlian should be coming into view at any moment.
Oh, it's the lady in white. I am so curious who this woman is. She's got some tie to the Mother Crystal, but who she is, I don't know.
My voice yet reaches you. I am glad. Hear, feel, think. And thus do we meet face to face.
Oh, she is Heidelin, bruh.
Of light, guided by the crystal.
So this is the why now?
After your sojourn in the First, I believe you have your answer. You have gained an understanding of what I truly am, what Heidelin has always been, a primal. Zodiac was created to forestall the apocalypse which threatened the ancient world, and I was brought forth to bind him. Yet 7 times now, those who would orchestrate a return to that bygone era have rejoined a shard to the god I had sundered. The greater his strength grows, the swifter does mine own diminish. The power to draw your mind into the rift betwixt is no longer mine to wield. Yet though it taxes me sorely, I dare not leave these words unsaid. Even bereft of my guidance, you and your companions have accepted the burden of this star's troubled past. A conjunction has begun to form, an intertwining of your time and mine. Wheels shudder and turn. Conflict looms. Monumental. Which will decide the fate of this world and all life upon it. When you truly understand what is at stake, and your journey has prepared you to surmount the insurmountable, then shall I honor the promise made in another time, another age.
Cast your peepers to the fore, folks. Sharlian's just over yonder.
I will not keep you further. Your traveler's heart must yearn to behold this unfamiliar land. We shall meet again, and soon.
Oh, what a fine morning. Oh, still a bit stiff though.
And a good morning to you too. Taking a look at the island already?
Then let's go. Let's go. Might still be room in the prow if we're lucky.
Ah, the sleepers have arisen. There she is. Good old Sharlian.
Oh, I see it.
Home. Home at last. Well, maybe not in Father's eyes, but we'll manage on our own, if we must.
You do know you're not alone in this, don't you?
Indeed. 'Tis as Sir Estinian said. Forget not the comrades who boarded this ship at your side. I prithee.
Thank you, my friends. We are ever grateful for your steadfast support.
Upon arrival, we will be disembarking into the heart of Sharlayan proper. There is no greater concentration of wisdom in all the world. I am confident that somewhere within that center of knowledge and learning, we will find the answers we seek.
I'm ready. I've been through A Realm Reborn, Heaven's Word, Stormblood, and Shadowbringers for this penultimate moment to see how the era between Hydaelyn and Zodiac ends. I am ready.
Sharlayan, the solitary island nation of the northern seas. Where under the watchful gaze of Thaliak, patron deity of scholars, academics hoard all manner of knowledge and secrets.
Such a beautiful looking location.
Once,
I am ready to get lost here.
Students into a distant colony maintained in the Dravanian hinterlands. How swiftly they abandoned it once the first Garlean boot set hostile foot on Alamegan soil. So averse to the prosecution of war, these men of wisdom, your would-be allies.
The northern empty, old Sharlayan.
I thought they'd never let us off the ship. What's next, then? Entry applications?
Hopefully they find no cause to deny us.
Hasn't Sharlayan all but severed relations with foreign powers? Those of us without direct ties, myself included, may be refused outright.
'Tis true that, as a nation, Sharlayan only forms trade agreements with a select few neutral countries. But from a practical standpoint, an island cannot afford to be overly strict with its borders. Especially not if that island's people are wholly devoted to the accumulation of knowledge. If one submits the proper paperwork, with satisfactory evidence of identity and intent, then foreigners may be granted entry.
May.
Quite. So let us be absolutely clear on these points before we proceed. The immigration officer will ask for your affiliation and your purpose of visit. Considering Sharlayan's views on intervention, I strongly suggest we avoid any mention of the Scions. Kral has laid the groundwork for us to act as associates of the students of Baldessian, and our ostensible reason for being here is to aid in their order's restoration.
Okay, so students of Baldessian to restore the order. Okay.
Grahatir, it might expedite our progress should an actual student be seen at the head of our little group. Would you mind leading the way?
Of course. The immigration officers were this way, as I recall. Shall we? Greetings. We've just arrived and are eager to make our way into the city. Would you be so kind as to process our entry applications?
Certainly. I see by your mark you are an Archon.
I am. Vrahat here of the Students of Baldessian at your service. I was assigned to an Eorzean survey team, but have returned to assist with the reformation of my order. My associates here will provide additional support.
Very good. I have paperwork detailing your group and its scheduled arrival for today. And it seems some few of your companions are also Archons. If you'll step forward, we can process those applications first.
Ishtola rule.
See how it glows. That list is etherically linked with the citizen registry kept in the main repository.
I've confirmed your status as Archons and amended your travel records accordingly. Welcome home. Now, who do we have here?
Alphino Leveilleur.
And Alize Leveilleur.
Your applications have also been approved. Having said that, the streets are abuzz with talk of how House Leveilleur's lord disowned his young progeny. And while such personal circumstances constitute no reason to deny you entry, I urge you to avoid exacerbating your present situation. Times are quite troubled enough already.
We shall keep that in mind.
These last two are not Sharlayan natives, but you will find their credentials are in order. An application was made in advance.
Name and occupation?
Adventurer by trade.
An adventurer. Well, I suppose that is considered a valid calling in your native Eorzea. And it does indeed match the profile provided. You may enter. And you, sir?
Estinian Valino, formerly of the Order of the Knights Dragoon in Ishgard.
Formally, at least. And what, pray tell, is your profession now?
Oh boy. He doesn't know how to answer that question.
If you'll allow me...
Guile!
My associate is a mercenary, hired for his strength at arms. Surely you are aware of the dangers we often face on our forays into the wilderness.
Mistress Baldessian, if you insist on sponsoring his entry, then so be it. But while I appreciate that desperate times call for desperate measures, I find your choice of company concerning. Be advised that even a single misstep may have severe repercussions for your organization.
I have every confidence in my chosen company, dear and trusted comrades that they are. But I thank you for your concern.
Kryl! It is good to see you.
Likewise. Long voyage notwithstanding, you all seem none the worse for wear. There is much to discuss, but this is hardly the place. Let's be on our way, shall we? Oh! Welcome, friends, to Sharlayan.
As your mercenary, I should hope my welcome includes a generous salary.
Well, I had to say something, Sir Taciturn.
So many people! So many people! Let me see here. Do I want to change my glamour while I'm here for right now? You know what? Screw it. I like rocking around and running around in this outfit from time to time. Let's use this one for right now. Kryle's being consumed! I'm glad I spotted the ship coming into port. The officers are born bureaucrats and sticklers for detail. In any case, you may relax and take a moment to get your land legs back. Ooh, first piece of gear already? It's a weapon. Let's see. What we got? High Durium Katana. What does it look like? Ooh. Not bad. Not bad. Sleek. Not too overly detailed. I like it. But yeah, it is higher leveled. Alright. Kryl! I had thought to launch directly into an explanation of what I've learned and how we might proceed. But this is Yami and Estinia's first time in Sharlayan, and for the rest of you, a homecoming that was long overdue. Let me disable auto checks for right now. You must have places you wish to visit and people you're dying to see. Therefore, I propose we postpone our agenda, so that you all may have sufficient time to recover from your journey and get your bearings in the city. Once you've settled in, we can reconvene at the Baldessian Annex. How does that sound? It's a fine suggestion. We may not be welcome at the Levior estate as such, but I should like to nose around the neighborhood all the same. I am equally untethered, as it were. There is no particular place that my kin call home. Still, I would not pass up the opportunity to reacquaint myself with the city. Likewise, a quick tour of our old haunts might even yield some useful gossip. The annex was west of the Aetheryte Plaza, wasn't it? I shall join you there anon. Yes, we'll see you there. Alright, time for me to get the lay of the land. I too have places I would be remiss in not visiting forthwith. By thy leave. What of you, Instidian? My services as a guide are yours for the asking. That won't be necessary. Until we reconvene, I prefer to wander as the wind takes me. But I could... Oh. Well, Raha, would you like to join us then? You've been gone for quite a while. Gone for quite a while, and this would be the perfect way to refresh those dusty old memories of yours. Oh, of course, if you will have me. Come, Yami, Sharlayan awaits. After you, my friend, I am more than content to follow your lead. Grahatia is now accompanying you. Keep him at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. You can leave Grahatia behind by entering a different area, using the Ethernet, or by putting too much distance between you. You can also speak with Grahatia and select the option to part ways. If you wish to have Grahatia accompany you again, return and speak with him at the original location. While Grahatia is accompanying you, next try speaking with Kryle. I like this little upgrade they did, where we could actually have the Scions actually accompanying us and walk around with us. We can even take pictures with them now, which is pretty cool. All set? Then let us be on our way. Our first stop, amusingly enough, will be the Last Stand. It's a cafe on the west side of the harbor. Kryle is also now accompanying you. Lead your two companions to the Last Stand and speak with Kryle at the designated location. While you are on company, you may encounter conversation points along the way, which will offer additional topics of discussion. Enter the glowing area and speak with your quest companions to initiate these bonus conversations. Enjoy exploring your surroundings together. I absolutely will. My first Aetheryte in Endwalker. Ah, I'm getting chills just thinking about it. Ooh, a conversation point right here. Let's see what they have to say. Discuss the giant statue in the harbor. Now that is a sight one could hardly forget. The great statue of Thaliak. As a student of Baldessian, I was usually quartered on the Isle of Val, but I would gaze upon the scholar's wise features every time I returned by ship to the city. What about you, Kryle? What do you got to say about it? This path leading out towards the sea is known as the Thaliak Stoa, so named for the statue of the scholar which stands at its end. As you know, the Sharlayan people prize the accumulation of wisdom above all else. Thus, when Thaliak was chosen as our patron deity, it was more a matter of pragmatism than belief, an alignment of principles, as it were. We may have honored him with a rather impressive sculpture, yes, but our faith is not so restrictive as that of, say, the Ishgardians. Individual Sharlayans can, and do, worship the divinities of their choosing. Interesting. Let's see here, there's teleport point there, two over here, one over here, and then the main one right here, which will allow us to teleport back to this area if we go to an area, say, Ul'dah or Limsa Laments or Gridania. And here we are, the Last Stand. I may have mentioned this before, but although our research into nutrition and food preparation is quite extensive, the average Sharlayan tends to regard seasoning and flavor with a certain indifference. Meaning, Sharlayans can't cook, I bet. How can I put this? The food is, it's bland. As encapsulated by our infamous Archon loaf, the prevailing sentiment towards cuisine is dietary value first, and taste a distant second. There was one pupil at the studium, however, who could stomach the school's insipid meals no longer, so he quit his lessons and poured all his savings into building a proper eatery. And so the Last Stand came to be. It is, as the name implies, the sole dedicated outpost of fine dining in Sharlayan, the one and only bastion of the culinary arts in an isle of otherwise mediocre fare. I seem to recall their burger being hailed as one of the more impressive items on the menu. Not that I ever had the pleasure of eating one myself. Because you were a typical Sharlayan when it came to cheap and convenient, Raha. But surely Tataru has since taught you how to appreciate a well-prepared dish. We should all stop in when time permits and sample the cafe's delights. Shall we press on? The stairs to the side of the cafe there will take us up to the Aetheryte Plaza. Yoink! Oh, I see a buddy of mine. If you don't know, people with the orange name tend to be on your friends list, or depending on what color you have set on your profile, it could be different colors. But mine is the basic orange and blue. Okay, Kryle. Next! An unusual shape, isn't it? I assure you, however, that it's a perfectly functioning aetherite. Remember to attune yourself before we move on. Now, being the diligent tour guide that I am, I should make mention of the Confluence, a research facility located on this very plaza. His much vaunted discoveries are the reason Charlian stands at the forefront of teleportation technology. In deciphering the underlying principles of Allegan aetherites, it allowed us to understand and reconstruct what was essentially a lost art. And off we go to our next destination. Our path leads northeast to the Agora, Charlian's largest marketplace. Ooh, yes, I need to check that out. But first, I'm going to go this way and grab the next teleport crystal. Mental note for anyone that picks up this game, always pick up your teleport crystals because the maps only get larger and larger with each expansion you experience. The smallest game I've experienced in this game is definitely Realm Reborn, but as you progress, the maps get larger and larger and larger, and it takes forever to get from place to place in this game. Also, just another mental note. If you wish to actually play along with me in this game, I tend to play this game as frequently as any other person, but I normally stick to the casual stuff. I don't really do, like, savage raids or stuff like that. But if you wish for me to help you out in a dungeon, you can always find me on the Lamia server, in the Lamia server on the Primal data center. My name is always, what are you doing, Graha? Why are you in the air? My dude, why are you up there? Hello? Square, I think that might be a bug. Why is he in the air? But, as you can see, my character name is Yami Nomura. You can find me mostly on this character, but you may also find me on... Graha, stop going in the air! But you might find me on a character going by the name of Noboru Yamanaki as well, or Momo Yamanaki. Yamanaki as another character that you might find me around. All my characters tend to be on the Lamia server, so if you wish to find me, that's how you'll find me. I'm all out of drink. I need to refresh. Give me a second. Okay. Cryo! Welcome to the Agora, where you can find wares made in Charlian, as well as a wide selection of imported goods. He also used to sell questionable prototypes from the various research institutes, but I think that practice has thankfully died out, for the most part. Otherwise, I could think of no better place to stock up for your next big adventure. Am I overselling it? On a more serious note, the next stop on our tour is one of which has particular relevance to our ultimate purpose here. We must head back to the Aetheryte Plaza, follow the path north, then climb the stairs up to that imposing building at the very top. Alright. But first, we're going to go the other direction. Actually, on second thought, let me come over here and check out the market board. This is something I always check out because you never know when something you might want goes on sale. Ooh, we already got something for the Reaper here. Just for the sake of checking, we're going to check and see what the Reaper has at level 80. Ooh. That looks nice. And this is the one that we get the moment we get into the Endwalker content. That one actually looks pretty cool. That one's kind of plain. It kind of reminds me of the scythe that Ruby has in Rooster Teeth's Ruby anime. Don't really like that one. But that's not bad, that's not bad. Alright, let's take a look-see at stuff that is mostly for glamours. Anything new? Oh yeah, they said something. Why can the males wear this now? Okay, that's gonna be funny. The price is still a bit too high, and that's still out of my price range, just a bit. It's dropped in price, but it's still a bit too much. What about samurai weapons? Let me see here. Looks like the weapons that I was wanting still hasn't dropped in price. I want these Stormblood weapons, but they're pricey. They are just really pricey. Anyway, we're gonna go this way and grab these last two teleport crystals. And this should be the last one. It's not? What am I missing? Oh, the one in the north, right? That's where I need to go anyway, so we could go this way and get it. There's a grand company whose crew tag is Brett. Graha, please stop floating! Be warned, do not use the Ethernet with NPCs following you. I'm guessing there must be a bug. People are already warning about that. But then again, the game already tells us not to do that. And that's the last one. This grand structure before you is the Rostra. The name refers to the original public platform erected here, upon which a forum of elected representatives would deliver orations and debate policy. Although the stage has since evolved with the council chambers, the nature of the forum and the duties of its members remain largely unchanged. Am I boring you, Raha? You seem awfully distracted. My apologies. From here, one could see the entire city spread out below. The vista put me in mind of my arrival in the first. Those who had gathered at the Crystal Tower asked me how they might go about building a new home. Naturally, my answers were all inspired by my knowledge of the finest settlement I could think of, the great city of Sharlayan. And bit by bit, those few buildings grew into a town, a community, the Crystarium. I can almost see its echo. I see. Feel free to come up here whenever you wish. I don't think the counselors would object to you simply enjoying the view. Such memories should be treasured. For now, however, the tour must go on. Our spectacle of sightseeing concludes with the fittingly named Journey's End. Walk down the stairs to the east and continue straight ahead. Oh boy, this person is not supposed to be on this server. He comes from a different server because, he comes from the Leviathan server. You could tell when a person's not on their home server if they have the Wanderer crew tag on them. Well, not crew tag, Grand Company tag, sorry. We've arrived at Journey's End. History tells us that this was where those who put ashore with Archon Nunkrub built their first homes. In the present day, it serves as the residential district for the most important officials and the oldest Sharlayan families. You'll see that one mansion is clearly larger than its neighbors. That estate belongs to our friends from House Stebayur. All things considered, we should probably keep our distance for the time being. And with that, we bring our little Sharlayan tour to our close. I hope it has proven to be an entertaining and enlightening experience. Now, shall we head directly to the Baldessian Annex? You remember the way, don't you, Raha? Let me think. We head down towards the harbor, cross the bridge to our right, and follow the path below the Aetheryte Plaza? Correct! After you, Yami. Oh, so... That's, Jesus, that's a big house. I mean, I always knew that Alfido and Alize came from a rich family, but that's just ridiculously big. Graha, please. It's launch day and a Friday. If you're not ordering a pizza tonight, you're doing it wrong. Well, I went grocery shopping, so I have all the food I need. I don't need to be worrying about getting a pizza. Damn it! This person blocked Cryle. As the joyous look on Raha's face has undoubtedly informed you, this is the Baldessian Annex. If you continue up the hill, you'll arrive on the doorstep of Phenomenon, but I think we've explored enough for one day. We could take you there another time. Inside with you then. I'm back, and I brought Yami and Raha with me. Ah, you were right about the ship then. Hello, Graha. It's nice to see you again. And it's a pleasure to finally meet you, Yami. I've heard many a tale of your exploits. Ojika? Ojika Sunjika. It has been an age. Allow me to introduce Ojika, cousin of Ejika Sunjika, and an administration officer for the students of Baldessian. He oversees the day-to-day business of the Annex. I read the reports on the Eureka expansion. Vegeta's passing grieved me beyond words. Thank you for standing by him until the end. This place is like a second home for the students. The Isle of Val serves as our main headquarters, of course, but we often had occasion to visit Charlian, whether to make use of the city's research facilities, attend conferences, or procure supplies from distant shores. And the annex here was built to provide lodgings for our members while we engaged in such activities. Now that our former headquarters is on the wrong side of the world, among other things, the annex has become our new base of operations for all intents and purposes. And yet it feels so empty. With so many lost to us, our organization is a shell of its former self. The day will come when we will see the students rise again. But first, we must ensure that the Telophoroi fall. Through that door on the left there is the main hall, where we can discuss our options moving forward. Once everyone arrives, that is, you probably have time to rest before our discussions begin in earnest. I've had private quarters prepared for you in the Andron, so please feel free to make yourself at home. Ah, the nap rooms! Perfect for an afternoon doze. Oh, I didn't mean to give you the wrong impression. Chambers are quite well appointed, far more so than some cheap roadside inn, you may be assured. It was simply that we were often so busy with research or exhausted from journeys abroad that we would slip into the Andron just to steal a few winks, and thus they become known amongst the students as nap rooms, even if many such naps might last well into the following morning. Say the word and I'll be happy to show you to your chamber. Hopefully the others won't be too long in coming. I'll wait for you all in the main hall. Speak with Cryle in the main hall. Okay. May as well go see Cryle. Ooh. Look at this place. Are these references to everything that I've experienced since Shadowbringers? No, these look... Some of these are new. Like that. What is that? Maybe these are references to stuff that was in the original Final Fantasy XIV. For those that don't know, 1.0 was actually really, really bad for Final Fantasy XIV, that they had to actually completely destroy the server to remake it into Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. So everything that was in 1.0, moving to the second expansion, we can't get access to at all. That's Doma, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's Doma. No, it ain't. That's Limsa. Sorry. No, wait, no, that's Eorzea. I'm an idiot. Limsa is right there. That's Doma. I am going to be so excited to see where they go from Endwalker onwards, because to think, all we've experienced is the three great continents. We've experienced Eorzea, Althard, and now we're going to be heading into Garlemald. But we don't know what else there is in this world. And they can always do another Shadowbringers where we go to another world. That's always a possibility. Feeling refreshed and alert, our colleagues should be wandering in soon, so I suggest we stay here and wait for them to join us.
Pray forgive me. I was delayed.
It's fine, Moriange. We're all here now.
Let's get down to business then, shall we? Come what may, we must prevent the Telophoroi's plans from coming to fruition. At present, I see two paths for gathering the information which may aid us in achieving that goal. The first involves an investigation into the change which has come over Charlian, not to mention the recent inscrutable behavior of the Forum. As most of you know, the 99 members of the Forum are elected from the general populace. This alone guarantees a plethora of opinion with regards to foreign policy. The bibliotheques, for example, are a group of conservatives which would have Sharlayan focus on recording history, while remaining entirely uninvolved in the making of it. And at the other extreme, we have advocates for proactive diplomacy and direct intervention. My grandfather Galef was one such member, as was Archon Louisois. Yet despite our diverse factions and philosophies, the recent vote to deny Eorzea's request for assistance was unanimous. Even more concerning was the fact that many cited other, more pressing duties as justification for their recalcitrance.
Fortuno's refusal in Gridania had those same undertones. 'Twas as if, having stared unblinking into the face of impending doom, he had simply turned away to pursue something more important. But what could that possibly be?
A mystery indeed, and one which I ask for your help to solve. Our future may depend on it. As for our second potential path, it concerns a request made directly to the students of Baldessian. Our organization was founded primarily to study strange and unexplained phenomena the world over. Mysterious relics and ruins, arcane disturbances, and so forth. Compared to our more isolationist Sharlayan colleagues, we have strong connections overseas, namely with scholars and academics who share our passion for the unknown. The request in question comes from one such acquaintance, Nadana, an alchemist residing in distant Favner. Her missive describes the sudden appearance of a tower, and the subsequent summoning of what I can only assume is a lunar primal. In response to this threat, the Satrap of Rads at Han, the individual who governs the city-state, has instructed the alchemists to find a means to deal with the spire.
The artisans of that land are heirs to an ancient tradition, one rather unlike that of their Uldan counterparts. 'Tis possible, nay, probable, that they have gleaned truths unattainable by Eorzea or her Far Eastern allies.
They do, in fact, appear to have a strategy in mind, though it will require further research. To that end, they have requested an introduction to a capable warrior shielded by the blessing of light.
Assuming we divide our forces to pursue both of Kral's lines of inquiry, then having you join the group heading to Thavner would seem the obvious choice. But the investigation in Sharlayan is of vital importance as well. Equal, I think, to the Thavnerian one, given that the fate of the world may hinge on the results of both.
Yes, it is quite the quandary. Though it is a great imposition and an altogether too common one, our efforts would be more likely to succeed were you to lead the charge on both fronts. You are indeed our champion. As to which task to tackle first, we will defer to your decision. Let us next decide how everyone else might best be assigned. As for myself, I shall continue what I've begun in Sharlayan. I should also like to steal the services of an Archon or two.
And thereby gain access to a greater range of reading material. I will help with that.
Allow me to offer my assistance. I have some small amount of experience in the field of research.
Alice and I would also like to help, if you would have us.
anything to understand even a fraction of what our father and the Forum might be thinking.
Of course! The more the merrier.
Right. The rest of us will make the journey to Thavna. Thoughts? Objections?
I passed through Thavnir on my way to infiltrate the Empire, and though I'm not qualified to give a guided tour, I did gain a sense of where things lie.
I'll be happy to have you along then. So for this group, it will be you, me, and Urianger.
Give me a moment afterwards, and I'll supply you with all the details of Nadana's request. Consider this hall our rendezvous point once our respective tasks are complete. May our investigations prove fruitful.
Ooh, chess piece. Alright. Oh yeah, before I do anything, I need to take a look at my hotbar. Yep. Let's see here. Fuga turns into Foucault. Show. Oh, shit. I know what I need to do. Okay. Set it up like that. Just gotta remember, this I can't use right now. There. That's much better. So I could choose either one, so which one would make more sense to do first? Not a bad top. Let's do the one that gives me the gear piece first. A sudden change has come over Charlian, but together we will divine the underlying cause for the form's callousness. As I mentioned before, however, questioning the counselors directly is a fruitless endeavor. They seem to have already come to a consensus as to what and how little they are willing to divulge, which is why I began scouring Charlian's archive of historical records for any hint of a connection to the final days. Suffice it to say that progress has been slow. There are only so many dusty pages one can skim in a day, but now that I have this band of willing reinforcements, the search should proceed all the swifter. Let us reconvene outside Numenon, shall we? Exit the annex to the right and you'll find the archives on the western edge of the woods. Ooh, there's side quests as well. We definitely gotta grab the side quests. My directions were easy enough to follow, I hope. In any case, you stand now before the doors of Numenon, Charlian's grandest collection of books and tombs. This building is actually only an entrance, and one of many at that, for the archives of Numenon extend deep beneath the surface like the roots of a tree. The vast halls of the Great Gubal Library pale in comparison to Numenon's endless maze of subterranean chambers. Any citizen of Charlian is free to enter and peruse the shelves. Well, most of its shelves. Only Archons are afforded access to certain restricted vaults. I've dispatched Stola and Raha to investigate those. Meanwhile, Alize and Alfino will help me continue my search through the stacks open to the general public. Your status presents more of a problem. As a non-citizen, you're only permitted to browse the first floor here at the entrance. Even so, there should be a number of books which touch upon Charlian history or fallen piously. Your task will be to find and study the relevant publications. I promise you, a working knowledge of those subjects will make it far easier to spot the sort of clues we're looking for. Let us be about it, shall we? I've told the others to meet us at the stone benches over there once they found some promising tomes. Happy reading! Brightly colored book. The title on the spine reads The Story of Charlian. Read the book. Okay, let's read. Long, long ago, on an island in the Northern Sea, there lived a Rogadan man by the name of Nunkref. Nunkref was a student of astrology, and he divined that a flood of terrifying proportions would soon sweep over the lands of Eorzea. So it's that he built a gigantic ship, assembled a crew, and set sail for that imperiled realm. The flood arrived as foretold, and to their horror the strangely churning waters drove the people towards the ocean. It was there, however, that Nunkref's crew hauled them aboard his ark. But the danger had not passed. A towering wave approached, threatening to smash the vessel into pieces. With only moments to spare, Nunkref wove a mighty spell of teleportation and shifted the entire ship to safety atop Abelathia's spine. Refugees from the surrounding regions huddled there alongside them, but it was not long before disputes over the dwindling supply of food led to violence and bloodshed. Saddened by the sight, Nunkref gathered to him his crew and his grateful passengers and abandoned the ark to those reddened peaks. They journeyed to the coast, where they built a new ship, intent upon returning to the northern seas. They landed on the beach of an island and settled upon that very spot. That settlement prospered and grew, and in time it became the city of Charlian we live in to this day. Red covered book. The title on the spine reads Roads of Old, the Colony. Many years ago, on the banks of Thaliak in the Dravinian hinterlands, the Charlian colony once thrived. The settlement was originally established as a mere outpost to study the ethereal sea in the year 1311 of the 6th Astral Era. Scholars dispatched to Eorzea found the facilities wanting, and their demands encouraged a gradual expansion in structures and services. As rumors spread of a growing community of academics, the area was further inundated with Eorzean students, hoping to share in the renowned wisdom of the Charlians. 50 years later, the Forum passed a motion to recognize what had become a flourishing town as an official Charlian colony. The Eorzean residents took to calling the colony itself Charlian, which led to no small amount of confusion when discussions turned to the subject of the motherland. In response, some Charlian inhabitants, if pressed for a name, will simply refer to it as Emporium. Following the Great Exodus, however, goblins and treasure hunters claimed for themselves a corner of the abandoned colony and gave it yet another name, Idleshire. The following chapters go on to introduce the most prominent features of Idleshire. This book does not appear to contain additional information of Forum or cover the history of the Charlian motherland in greater detail. Okay, so that was pointless. Leatherbound Tome. The Voice of a Growing City. In the years which followed the founding of Charlian, civic policy and other matters of import were decided at the Ecclesia, a public forum at which every citizen was eligible to speak. As the city's population grew, however, this format became increasingly impractical. The larger number of participants gave rise to longer debates, resulting in significant delays of vital resolutions. Various measures were introduced in an attempt to curtail practice discussions, but in the year 201 of the 6th Astral Era, it was ultimately decreed that Charlian would transition to a new form of governance. The nation would now be led by a body of 99 members, citizens chosen from amongst their peers by means of a nationwide vote. Thus was the Forum, as we know it today, conceived and created. Okay, that one was important. My beloved seekers of knowledge, have you ever put learning before your health? One night, engrossed in philosophical study, I had an epiphany. All the world's mysteries that drive us to reckless abandon, we have so very few years of life. I am forever 20 summers young. The number itself is unimportant. You could be 19, or 23, or 40. Whatever age you are when you discover this manual, let that be the age you aspire to remain. Through mindful, helpful living, will you extend the time available to spend upon your chosen research, Another day, another moon, another summer to grasp the greater truths you pursue. In the pages that follow, we will explore the secrets of maintaining one's physical condition from a biological, ethological, and arcane viewpoint. Alright, that's not it. I pretty much expected that one wasn't the right one. And from the looks of it, this one might be the last one. Stewards of Wisdom. Yeah, this sounds like it'd be the right one. During the chaos of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, Archon Nunkref, founder of Sharlayan, bore witness to the madness and savagery of men brought to the brink of despair. Upon raising a settlement on an island in northern Empty, he instructed his people thus: renounce the ways of war, and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason. The Sharlayans took to heart the words of their savior, and thenceforth served as stewards of wisdom. Upon a foundation of accumulated learning, they built a homeland unlike any other, a nation born from strength of minds rather than strength of arms. With knowledge of economics came shrewd trading. With knowledge of agriculture came bountiful crops. Engineering brought wells and sewers, ending squabbles over water. Wealth of expertise could be bartered for wealth and coin. And the more their wisdom spread throughout the world, the more mankind as a whole would thrive. And so it was that no matter the trials and tribulations of the age, the citizens of Sharlayan would live by their founder's teachings. For the sake of a better tomorrow, for the sake of a brighter star, they would eschew the tools of war and with knowledge deliver the world. Alright. You have gained a fundamental understanding of Sharlayan history and the foundation of the Forum. Head outside to the rendezvous point and await your companions. Yep, that was the last one. Where's the thing I need to interact with? Here we are. Sorry, were you waiting long? I wanted to make sure I'd borrowed at least a few promising volumes. Alphino and Cryle should also be along shortly. I was delayed in similar fashion. As far as I could see, no titles in the Archon stacks mentioned the final days specifically, so we have no choice but to start with the tangentially relevant tombs, if they are even that. At present, the plan is to skim through as quickly as we dare, and share our discoveries as we make them. It would have been nice to invite everyone to the estate. Plenty of comfortable places to read, and a ready supply of hot tea. Oh, I was always quite fond of reading outside, but it's not about the little pleasures, is it? You miss your home. It's been difficult. After our arrival, we managed to speak with one of the family servants and ask how things were. It seems our dear father has instructed the staff that even if Alphino and I were to return to Sharlayan, we were not to be allowed across the threshold. A harsh measure indeed. I hope that our efforts to understand his position and that of the Forum will perhaps lead to a reconciliation. We'll mend this rift one day, I'm certain of it. And what of you, Graha? Have you been to visit your family, or do they not live here in the city? Ah, well, my situation is also somewhat complicated. I was raised in Sharlayan, yes, but I was born rather further away. In the southern reaches of Ilsabard, in fact. For generations, my people have dwelt in Corvos, the coastal region opposite the island of Thavnair. The Allagans founded a city in that fertile land, and by ship brought in the subjugated tribes of the Nakote to serve as laborers. Of course, the massive earthquakes of the Fourth Umbral Calamity brought an end to the Empire's reign, and when the Fifth Calamity froze the sea solid, many of the tribes still living in Corvos braved the journey back to Eosia. My ancestors, however, chose to remain, that they might prevent the preeminence of Allagan technology from being misused. Isn't Corvos under Garlean rule? For the past 50 years, yes. Some semblance of local culture remains, as is the case for most imperial provinces, but Garlemald renamed the region Locus Amenos. When I was a boy, a nearby town came under the jurisdiction of an illustrious imperial family, the nobles of House Darnus. House Darnus demonstrated a singular interest in Allagan civilization, and so my tribe was forced to consider a plan of action. For some time already, Voices had been raised in favor of abandoning our ancient customs. After all, the elegant eye no longer passed, already flicked through every history book devoted to disasters, and more than a few which barely made mention of them. As such, we will be looking into research papers on the umbral calamities, as well as articles written by prominent forum members. Perhaps their knowledge of the final days comes from an unexpected source. Speaking of which, might I ask you a few questions related to the final days? I'm the only one here who didn't witness the events of Amarat firsthand, and fear I may be overlooking critical details. My thanks. Now where to begin? First things first, what kind of phenomena did the ancients encounter as the final days drew nigh? A complete destabilization of creation magics. Yes, the unfolding catastrophe wrought havoc on all manner of life. The chaos themselves, causing their powers of creation fashion, meteors raining from the sky, fire erupting from the ground, indescribable abominations prowling the streets. That more or less aligns with my understanding. If only the arts of creation had survived until the present day, we might have had something substantial to analyze. To the best of our knowledge, however, those techniques were not preserved or passed on. Yustila surmises that the closest known magic is that of the summoning rituals promulgated by the Asians. Was there aught else of note which heralded the approach of the final days? The entire star was engulfed by disaster all at once. I think you may be disremembering. As I recall, it was more of a gradual spread. The Amaratines spoke of a keening sound that rose from the land itself just before our region was visited by a catastrophe. We never did hear this sound ourselves, of course, thrust as we were into the midst of the madness. So the ground was crying out, you say? To be considered the harbinger of doom, it must have been quite distinctive, and probably quite loud. I'll have to speak with one of Nomenon's mammoths, and ask after any books which make mention of such a sound. Last but not least, would you describe how the ancients sought to quell this unprecedented calamity? What definitive action did they take? They summoned Zodiark. Yes, with Elizabeth serving as his heart, so many gave themselves in sacrifice to bring him into being. We do not know exactly how Zodiark brought salvation to the star, only that by his godlike will were the laws of nature set aright. Then, once the balance was redressed, the ancients offered up a further sacrifice to heal the ravages of the final days. Lives sprouted anew, and it was that these fledgling souls they intended to render unto Zodiark, a trade that would have allowed them to resurrect the shades of loved ones absorbed by the primal. Or might have Helena and her fellows not manifested their opposition in the form of Heidelin. Thank you, both of you, for the detailed review. I feel much more confident now in my understanding of events. With all that freshly in mind, it does make me wonder what the Telophoroi truly mean when they speak of bringing back the final days. You've seen what they're doing with those towers of theirs. Is forcing people to summon primals a kind of catalyst? Are they attempting to mirror the conditions caused by unstable creation magics? Or are they simply using the final days as a figure of speech, a convenient metaphor for the scale of destruction they plan to unleash? But this is all just pointless conjecture at this stage. Let us return our attention to the forum, shall we? We should keep an eye out for Yustila, but it is time we began studying these research papers. Okay, I need to take a bit of a break. I will be right back. Sorry about that. Needed that bathroom break. Whew. Alright, Y'shtola, what do you got to say? I'm the last, am I? Well, my extended search of the Archon stacks produced one or two possibly useful books, but I wouldn't get your hopes up. If you recall, Oriange learned the source's reflections of the Garon oracles. For its potential to cause panic and confusion, that tome was deemed apocrypha and sealed away in the Great Gubal Library. It is even less likely that knowledge of the undersundered world, not to mention the horrors of the final days, will be left sitting on a shelf for any curious scholar to find. It stands to reason that my colleagues, be they archons or counselors, should perforce be largely ignorant of the subject. Yet when you confronted Master Fulchino with knowledge of the Telophoroi and their machinations, he scoffed at the suggestion that they posed a threat. He seemed adamant that the Forum would know if the final days were truly upon us, which only supports the conclusion that whatever privileged wisdom is guiding the Forum's behavior, it is being kept secret from the rest of the nation. Not that I mean to excuse myself from reading duty. Whether they contain mention of the final days or no, these books could yet hold something of value. You weren't thinking of leaving, were you? There's plenty of work for everyone. Oh, but, I'm an adventurer! I don't read books! I'm sorry, let me stop lying. If I was my guy in this game and I enjoyed adventuring, I'd probably enjoy reading just as much as I do in reality. I love reading books. I mean, just recently, a good friend of mine actually gifted me 2 Sherlock Holmes books for my collection, and I was like, yes, I love Sherlock Holmes. You labor for what feels like an age as you're still a research assistant. Alright, Kryl, what do you got to say to me? Oh dear, you look exhausted. But what about your studies? Were you able to find any books on the subjects I mentioned? The day was well spent. Should you wish to read them again, a mammoth at a reference desk will point you in the right direction. For the moment, though, I suggest you take a well-deserved rest. We might be occupied with our research for quite some time. Alright, Alize, what you got to say? Alize appears in desperate need of a study break. Ready for a tea break, Yami? I know I am. Honestly, my neck and shoulders are going to calcify if I don't stretch my legs and walk around for a bit. You know the last stand down in the harbor, don't you? Come and meet me near the outside tables and I'll treat you to their coffee. It's quite good. And while I'm doing that, I could pick up some side quests to get some bonus experience. The waiting woman sighs with impatience. How long must I wait? Oh, forgive me, I was just thinking out loud. I made plans to meet my paramour, you see, but the time of our rendezvous is long past. As a member of the Forum, his work keeps him ever so busy, even more so than usual in recent days, till he promised he would put some time aside for me, for us. I don't suppose your wanderings will take you anywhere near Nunkrep's site today, will they? I need someone to check if he's there while I stay here, just in case. This person is literally called Scoobert Doo. I'm dead. Thank you ever so much. My tardy sweetheart is an Auri man, brown hair, serious mane. Should you happen to spot him, pray convey the state of my rapidly mounting impatience. There's 2 side quests there, 1 there. Love quest of Old Charlian. and a level 80 blue quest here, which I definitely need to get because these tend to be tend to give us something important. The hunt for specimens. The diminutive gleaner is on the lookout for an able-bodied adventurer. Do my eyes deceive me, or are you Yami Nomura? Yep, I'm known. Well, as I live and breathe, it is you. Ha! I knew I'd be the first to track you down. Who's the guild shop's top hunter now, eh? Wait, you have heard of guild shop hunts, yes? Guild ship hunts. They're not so different from the hunts you're familiar with in Eorzea, as I understand it. I'd wager they're rather more challenging, but an adventurer of your caliber would never turn down a challenge, would you? No, you would not. Please speak with Nortota at the Peristyle to register your interest at the earliest convenience. Oh, the hunt marks. Yes, I definitely will need those because you never know what kind of stuff they'll give you for doing those. I kind of ignored the hunts in Shadowbringers. I really did not enjoy them. Hello, friend. Are you new to Charlie and you have that look about you? I thought as much. Oh, I'm not bothering you, am I? I so rarely meet travelers from beyond our shores and couldn't pass up an opportunity to broaden my horizons. Can I assume a visitor such as yourself is eager to do the same? If you've been interested in learning about the city's history, for example, then I know the perfect person to give you an impromptu lesson. Head on over to Scholar's Harbor and keep an eye out for a black-haired Rogadin. That would be my brother. He'll know the tale of any pillar and statue you could care to point out, and would be more than happy to share it with you. And grab this one. Are you one of those adventuring types I've heard so much about? Oh, but this is perfect. I just happen to have an errand of the kind that adventurers love, or so I'm told. I'm holding on to some volumes my customers ordered in, but instead of coming to pick them up, they've all decided that they want their goods delivered, so I find themselves in need of a delivery drudge person. Might that person be you? Huzzah! Let me give you the details then. All in all, there are 3 books on the delivery docket. The first, Ishgardian Astrology, a comprehensive theory, should be handed to the servant at Albright Manor. The white yonder is for a certain talkative book lover who you'll know by the constant stream of chatter. And the last narrow road through the deep grass goes to one of the toughest, most unflappable gleaners I have ever met. I'll just mark their locations on this handy map, like so. The books are bought and paid for. No need to collect any coin, but do return to me for your own reward. I'm blocked off. Go this way.